and formed as the first Orthodox Church organized as an organization in the British Commonwealth. That had never happened. Okay? And those of our ancestors, and that's why for me, probably, and particularly coming back here, okay, is as significant as it is because it's those people over whose graves we were praying today, our families, that had the foresight when they left Ukraine, okay, when they left Ukraine before the Soviet Union, before the Russian Revolution, they left Ukraine seeking a better life economically and politically. And they came to the New World. They came to the Western Canadian Prairie. As some of you will know, they settled not in Saskatchewan, they settled in the Northwest Territories. Because, of course, there was no Saskatchewan until 1905, or Alberta for that matter. Or even most of Manitoba did not exist beyond the postage stamp, so they settled around Dauphin, Northwest Territories, Fish Creek, Northwest Territories, or Smoky Lake, now Alberta, Northwest Territories. Okay? But within a short period of time, after 1891 and following, within a short period of time, they formed organizations and reading associations, Mohili Institute, and that led to founding a church that was free of any foreign influence anywhere. And that is how our church is structured. That is how our church is structured, and within 11 years, now think about it, World War I finishes, the armistice is in November of 1918. At the end of December 1918, a national convention is held in Saskatoon, and an organization is founded called the Ukrainian Greek Orthodox Church of Canada at the end of December. So that organization that we're part of by virtue of being members of a congregation, a parish community, such as the Nativity of St. Mary at Gronlid, okay? We are part of a unique organization that within 11 years had a federal charter signed by King George VI, father, of course, of Queen Elizabeth II. No other Orthodox church, Ukrainian, Russian, Romanian, anywhere, has that unique history. The reason I draw attention to that is because, as I said, that organization decided that it would have a national convention, which we call a sobor. Sobor means a gathering. It would have a sobor where lay people, representatives of parishes, as well as clergy, as well as bishops, get a vote. Okay? So if you have lay people or representatives of lay people and clergy and bishops, it means that no clergy and certainly no bishop has a deciding vote. Collectively, we decide on the administrative functioning and structure. So every 5 years, there's a national convention. And that convention chooses a national board, and it chooses a priest, it elects a priest to serve as the national administrator. And by the grace of God, I was called to that position. I am deeply in awe of that opportunity to serve in that capacity. I repeat this history to remind myself of the inheritance that we have. The inheritance. That's why I said what I said in church, is we are called to follow the example of those who have gone before us. because they have the foresight, including in this very spot, to say, no, we're not going to be part of some group or some ecclesiastical, some church organization where someone somewhere will dictate to us how we will, the language we will worship in, the way we will worship. And one of the key features, and I thank Jackie for speaking, for taking the lead, and for drawing attention to the fact that this and that building and that, as we say in Ukrainian, ploshcha, that property, I mean the cemetery specifically, in our polity, in our church structure, is owned by the people. Okay? It's not owned by a bishop. It's not owned somewhere. But the double-edged sword to that is, it also places a unique responsibility upon us to maintain, okay, and to make it our own and transmit to the succeeding generations and to the community around us. Being the inheritor of that background, I resolved that I will do my very best in the position that I find myself to reestablish as much as possible that connection that perhaps was a little bit stronger in a previous generation and previous time, but reestablish that contact with Winnipeg, which is where the head office is located, and the membership across Canada that Winnipeg, the head office, is called to serve. And so it gives me great pleasure to have the opportunity to be here. That's why I jokingly said in church, chief tax collector. Well, one of the decisions that our forefathers made is that we will have a national organization that will solely exist